Okay, we're going to look at quiz 4.5.3, linear inequalities. The best thing to use for this quiz is Desmos. So I'm going to show you how to use Desmos for this quiz. So if we look at our first question, now of course, your questions are going to be in a very different order. So don't think that this is going to be your question number one. So which point is a solution for y is less than or equal to 4x plus 5? So we're going to go over to Desmos. Now, I have already done this. So what I've done is, let's look there. So I put in y is less than or equal to 4x plus 5. So when I did that, let's just do that again. So if I put in y is less than or equal to 4x, that's why I did it because I'm terrible at this, plus 5. So when you put that in Desmos, if you're not familiar, it's going to turn it pink. So for your linear inequalities, your answer is going to be the point that's inside the shaded area. So it gave you 4 choices for your multiple choice answers. And I put all 4 different choices here. 0, -2, which is right here. -4, 0. -6, 4. And 0, 10. So our answer is the solution that is in the shaded area. Super duper easy when you use Desmos, because it's right there. So now we're going to go look at this question. Ooh, let's just pull this part up here. Now, another type of question it's going to give you a point, and then it will give you 4 different equations. So this one, you would have to put all 4 different equations into Desmos, and then see which point would work for which equation. So I went ahead and did that. So here is the equation y minus 5 is less than 3x minus 4. And as you can see, point 0, 0, or the origin, would work for this equation because it falls within our shaded area. Now, let's look at some other types of problems. Other types, Apex gives you the graph instead of us having to do it in Desmos. So let's look here. Let's look at 5b. And again, yours will be very different. Y is greater than or equal to a -2x minus 5. Now, we can just look at this and figure out our answer just by looking at our signs. So we know that it's greater than or equal to. So let's just look at the equal to part. If it's equal to, it's going to be a solid line, because that means it includes any number on that solid line. If it's a dotted line, that means it does not include anywhere that dotted line falls. So we know that it has to be either B or D, because those are our 2 solid lines, because it's equal to. Now, we know it's greater than. So if it's greater than, your shading has to be above the line. What I always do, I take a pencil or I even take my finger and I put it on the line. And if the shading is pushing above the line, it's greater than. If it's pushing below the line, it's going to be less than. So if I put my pencil on the line, which I'm actually doing now, you just can't see me, it's pushing above the line on B. So that's what our answer is going to be. Now, Let's look at 6b. This has y is less than a negative 3/4 x plus 2. So this one we know is going to be a dotted line because it doesn't have equal to, so it's going to be a dotted line. This is less than. So if I put my pencil on my line, we know the shading has to be pushing down. So it's not going to be B because B is pushing up. D is pushing down. So our answer is going to be D. And our last example we're going to look at is 8. So if we look at this, it tells us on a piece of paper, we're going to graph this equation and then determine which choice matches the graph. That looks really complicated, but not really, because we can just look at our sign, know that it's less than or equal to. We know that it's going to be a solid line because it's equal to. We know that it's going to be, the shading is going to be pushing down because it's less than. So we know that our answer has to be D. I hope that helps. If there's any other questions, just let me know.